wedding, and I want it to be a lovely ceremony and a lovely memory. And right now, it's a no-frills wedding, and I don't want to be married by a justice of the peace with no family and no friends.
But, honey, it will be official, and that's the main thing. We can get together later with the family, with everybody.
No, it's just not right, and this is the second thing that's pointed to it today.
What do you mean, the second thing today? Kate? Honey, will you...
Hello? Yes, Herb, he is. Just a moment, please. It's Herb Callison. He wants to talk to you.
Hi, Herb. What good news have you got for me today? Do you need me to come over right now? Fine, I guess I can come over now. Yeah. Bye. Oh, Kate.
I'm sorry. I'm angry and I'm disappointed.
I know. Honey, this is killing me, all of this.
We'll be fine. I'll be fine, and everything will be okay, and one of these days, things will work out for us.
They will, honey. I am promising you, they will. All of them. Lord, I love you. How could I not love you?
This is CBC Television.
In Edmonton, CBC Television, Channel 5, Cable 4.
Hollywood comedies, German...
Mother?
No, I was about to, but then Tom came in.
No, thank heaven.
I know, I agree. In fact, I even stalled a little getting to the point because I dreaded having to drop that bombshell on her.
Well, it's a bombshell that Tom should drop. Did you talk to her afterwards?
Yes, and then she went to confront Lee, so I don't know what happened after that. Mr. Dennison, we were just talking about you.
Cassie, have you seen Mary Lynn? I'm very concerned about her state of mind.
Oh, well, Al, looks like Tina and Max went out for the evening. Yes, you and I've got the whole house to ourselves, except for some very nice servants. Isn't that right? Yes, we do. Such a big boy. You are growing into such a big boy. You Mommy's big boy? Oh, and you don't even know that, do you? I'm your mother, and I love you more than anyone in the whole world does.
Gabrielle.
What do you think you're doing?
Tina, what are you talking about?
Well, I heard what you were saying. What have I been hearing? Or Cord walking in right now?
Ah, you mean talking out loud to my son?
I heard exactly what you said. That you are his real mother and that you love him more than anybody else. First off, let me tell you something. You may have given birth to this little baby, but you couldn't possibly love him any more than I do. Now, we have to get a few things straight here, or you are going out the door.
Ray. Hey, Cord. Hi. Sorry to drag you over here like this. Hope I didn't mess up your day at all.
Well, that's all right. My day was messed up to begin with. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm afraid this meeting isn't going to lighten your mood any.
Perfect.
When we searched your mother's room after we found out she'd been poisoned,
Yeah, what'd you find?
we found an unfinished letter. It was dated the day she died and addressed to you.
Dearest Cordero, I feel so much hurt because you won't talk to me or listen to me, and because you refuse to understand the love that has driven me and drives me now. You've always shut me out when I wanted to discuss Tina, but there's something you must know. Something I've known for a month, but found it very hard to tell you. Once again, Tina has a secret. One I discovered and used to force her to go through with the divorce. Yes, it could be construed as blackmail, but I did it for you, Cordero. So you and Kate could finally marry and be happy.
You're not going to want to believe Tina's latest and worst dirty trick. But there's proof of it. Tina's sin this time is... And the letter just stops.
I know.
Rafe, what the hell is this all about?
I have no idea what it means. I was hoping you knew.
Could be construed as blackmail. Tina's worst dirty trick. Man, oh man, Rafe, what were these ladies into?
Cord, do you realize the implications of this letter? That this now means Tina had motive to kill your mother?
The missing piece.
Exactly.
Does Tina know of the existence of this letter?
Yeah, but she claims there was no blackmail and no secret. She says that this letter is just proof of Maria's emotional illness and further proof of Maria trying to plot against her and Vicky. I don't know exactly where you stand on the issue of your mother's mental stability.
She was confused, Rafe. She was, out of control. I just don't believe, though, that she went in and she stole the poison with the intention of killing Vicky. Nor do I believe that Tina stole the poison with the intention of killing my mother.
Well, that's the problem here. Nothing is clear-cut. But if Tina really is hiding something that your mother found out about...
Then what? I don't know how to finish that, Rafe. I have no idea what's going on. This letter doesn't make any sense to me.
Cord, look, I was in the room when Herb Callison first showed this letter to Tina. She almost jumped out of her seat. She looked totally panicked. Now, Cord, I'm talking off the record now, from a cop's instinct. But I feel she's covering up.
What? Oh, what could she be covering up?
In the letter, Maria states that she used it to get Tina to move on with a divorce. Doesn't that give you any clue? Obviously, it's something Tina didn't want you to know about.
This could be the reason why Tina was chasing her around with a pair of scissors.
Scissors? You want to tell me about that? And I want the truth.
Look, Rafe, maybe it has nothing to do with all of this.
Maybe it does.
It was a couple months ago. I heard some shouting outside my mother's door. I went barging in. And Tina has got this pair of scissors in her hand. My mom's got her arm cut. It was a small cut, a superficial wound. Tina was claiming that the reason she was doing that because it was self-defense. My mother was trying to strangle her. I know. I know. It didn't make any sense to me either. And I tell you, I went through the roof. I was furious with them. I didn't even bother to ask them what reason they were fighting about. I just couldn't believe it. I had no idea what their reasons were. This doesn't help Tina's defense at all, does it? Rafe, tell me what's going on. Did Tina kill my mother on purpose?
The evidence certainly suggests it. We just don't know for sure.
Well, I guess there's one way to find out. I would just have to go have a talk with that ex-wife of mine, and I'll have to get some of my own answers.
Now, Cord, cool down. We've had enough violence already.
I'll let you know if I find anything out, Rafe.
Good.
Fine, Tina. Let's do get a few things straight around here. And we'll start with the reason why I am here. To save you from a murder conviction.
Great. Well, you know what? You are really gonna bring all that around a lot faster. Oh, yeah. I hope you keep talking to Al out loud like you've been doing.
I'll be more careful in the future. But you have to remember, Al is my son. And I'm taking him back after the trial.
Look, I know we are dealing with a very complicated, emotional thing right now. I understand that. And it's not that I don't appreciate everything you're doing for me right now. It's just that I get a little upset when I hear you saying things like that.
I can understand that, and you're right. I will be more careful what I say out loud in the future. But you know, what worries me the most is not your little outbreaks of panic. It's your underlying belief that you won't ever have to give Al up.
That's not true.
It is true. You know it is, Tina. It's time you faced it. Be honest with yourself and with me. We must face the facts.
I guess I never really thought about it. But what you just said does hit home a little bit.
I know.
Gabrielle, I wish we could just go back to Argentina. I wish we could just do all this over again.
I know I'd like to start with the day that my father and Jamie held us in the cabin. Tina, if I could do anything to change the fact that my father wanted to keep you as a hostage, believe me, I would.
I know that. I know you're a nice person. You didn't have anything to do with your dad's drug operation.
If you hadn't been tied to the raft and gone over the falls, you wouldn't have had a miscarriage. And this would be Cord's baby that you're calling your own. If that were all true, I don't know what would have happened to me. I would have given birth in the jungle alone, but I could have lost my baby or died myself.
I guess that's where fate stepped in, huh? You helped me, and I helped you and Al.
So, here we are, still lost, and fighting with each other because we both love Al so much. Max still loves you. He doesn't know that Al's mine and his.
Cord finds out he's gonna die. I imagine he'll want to kill me first.
Mr. Dennison, I saw Mary Lynn today after you talked to her.
And?
And she was pretty upset. It was as if an emotional earthquake had hit her. She's very confused. She's trying hard to think. She's trying even harder to understand both you and Lee.
Yes, I can imagine. Were you able to help her at all?
Well, I don't know. I went into my background a little, how my father David had taken me from my mother, and how hard it was for me to take the time to understand and forgive everyone involved. But how now I'm really glad I did.
Cassie, when Mary Lynn left, was she going to see Lee?
Yes, she wanted to confront her with what you said. Look, Mr. Dennison, if I were you, I would just wait till Mary Lynn comes to talk to you.
All right. If you see her, tell her I'm waiting. And tell her I love you. Love her, will you? More than... No, don't do that. Don't do that. If I need you to convince her I love her, then it's all lost, isn't it?
Mr. Dennison, I really want you to understand why I was going to tell Mary Lynn in the first place. I just felt that as her friend, she had a right to know the truth.
Well, of course she did. And that just makes you a good friend, Cassie, that's all. And pretty good private eye, too, eh, John? Okay, thank you. Just send me the bill, will you?
Tom, listen. You take it easy, okay? I mean, really, take it easy.
I will.
I hope everything works out for you.
Thank you, Cassie. Thank you very much.
Some powder keg, huh?
Yeah, it looks to me like Tom and Lee Halpern are more bent on discrediting each other than they are on healing Mary Lynn's wounds.
I know. It really bothers me, too.
Well, they hate each other so much they can't see it. That's the worst part.
Yeah. So what about Tom's compliment to me?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, you have been a very good friend of Mary Lynn's, too.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the PI part.
Well, all right. He said you were a pretty good PI. He didn't say excellent or super, so I'd go along with that. You're about the pretty good stage.
Thank you so much, boss.
A little too independent and hard-headed.
Yeah, that's why you find me so fascinating, isn't it?
What am I going to do with you, anyway?
Well, you could pick up where we left off the other night. Your apartment. Sandra interrupted. You do recall that day, don't you?
You better remind me.
John, I can't take any more of this. Please, no more teasing.
Well, there you are.
I thought you might have given up on me.
I never give up on a good thing. Feeling better?
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, thanks.
Good.
You know, actually, it was probably a good thing that you interrupted my traumatic interlude. It gave me a reason to pull myself together.
Well, I'm glad. Is there something you'd like?
I think just a cup of coffee, that's all.
Just coffee, Rob.
All right.
I had a few drinks before I saw you, and I sort of felt the effect of it, so...
Would you like to tell me why you were so upset?
No.
No? Okay, that's certainly fair enough. But there's something I'd like to say before we move on to another topic. It made me feel very badly that, well, something had driven you to such an emotional extreme.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's all right. Now, my mother...
Uh-oh.
When you and she had dinner together, said that you discussed the placement or the possible placement of some of your, your employees since you were dissolving your own business.
Oh, yeah, Charles. I feel sort of bad about this. I've had second thoughts.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have. I was sort of in a low mood that day because of my daughter, and I think that was sort of a rash, impulsive decision,
Oh, well, you felt that you wanted to be less a boss and more a mother?
Well, not exactly.
Well, the reason I say that is because, admittedly, in my own life, I allowed my career to interfere with the raising of my son, if you know anything about Jamie Sanders.
Yeah, I do know something about Jamie Sanders. I'm a friend of Max Holden's, so...
Oh, well, at any rate, I've become a man who advocates family first.
Ah.
So, do we have anything to discuss, or are you firm on this decision to hold on to Dynamite?
Well, as a matter of fact, I am pretty firm on this, so sorry. I think I wasted a little bit of Elizabeth's time and a little bit of yours, but you know what? I gotta be honest with you. Elizabeth didn't even seem the least bit interested in this thing.
Well, you see, Elizabeth, my mother, well, she's concerned that any of your employees might be apt to deal in a little subterfuge.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's wrong.
Here you are.
Thank you, Grace.
Thanks again. She also told me that there was a time when she contracted you for that exact purpose.
Well, that is very true, Charles, but that was many years ago when I thought that making money over a one-day period was much more important than stretching it over years. That was also before I decided that I could be ethical and profitable at the same time.
Well, that's very candid. So let me ask you, you no longer deal, let's say, under the table for any price?
Under the table? No, I don't deal under the table, and I'm very proud to say that.
One final question, then. Would this include, let's say, just as an example, inviting someone out to dinner, and while you were keeping them busy, someone else could possibly go to their home and snoop around?
What are you talking about?
It's just an idea.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. You are not referring to that exterminator who came to your house
Yes,
that
as a matter of fact,
night?
that's exactly what I'm referring to. It's a very, very bizarre episode, and frankly, my mother is very suspicious and suspects foul play.
Oh, she does, and I bet you're here to check it out.
You would win your bet, because that's exactly why I'm here. However, I consider myself quite a fine judge of character, and I will be happy to inform my mother when I see her next that she was mistaken, because I believe that you, your candor, and your charm are no more surface than your exceptional good looks.
Should we go in here?
Why not? I claimed this place long before Frank Montaigne ever came along.
Yeah, well, the police might not want anything touched, since this is where Frank and Sandra and John were just before the murder.
I don't care about the police. Come on.
Well, at least no one can find me here.
Lee Halpern, huh? Did she give you any clue why she didn't tell you herself?
About being my mother? Oh, yeah, there were lots of reasons. Neither one of them could explain the lies and the games to me, though.
I'll bet they kept using the word love while they were trying, right?
I hate them both. Why are you laughing?
Because I know you well enough already to see you don't really mean that. Maybe you should mean that, but you don't.
I want to. I want to erase them from my life. No, I don't mean that. can't imagine being so totally on my own without my family.
Do it. You'll get used to it. I did. I can get along without anybody now.
Maybe. Maybe not.
What do you mean?
Wade, I know you well enough to see that you're somewhat self-sufficient, but you're also very lonely.
Look, it's a lot easier without having someone around expecting things from you, and then making you feel bad when you don't live up to their expectations. I look out for myself. That's it. And as soon as you learn to do that, you're going to feel a lot better.
Right now, I don't even know what looking out for myself means. Maybe I should forget how much they've hurt me. Maybe I should give them another chance.
I'd say no. But you obviously want to give them a second chance. They're going to have to hurt you a few more times before you finally decide to cut them off.
You're so cynical.
Mary Lynn, am I the one in pain here or you?
Afternoon, Mrs. Montaigne.
Hope we're not bothering you.
I, don't even know you.
Sure you do. We've never met personally, but you've seen us around.
Business associates of your late husband? I'm Leonard, this is Sid. Surely Frankie has mentioned us.
Not by name.
Come on. You must know Frank owed us money. A lot of money.
No.
Well, it's a fact.
And we're here to collect.
In case you hadn't heard, my husband's dead. Did you know that?
Well, sure, we know, but what can we tell you? The debt still has to be paid.
And given the year's widow in line to inherit the club and other assets.
It'll be up to you to take care of his financial obligation.
And we're first on the list. I believe we've made ourselves clear, Mrs. Montaigne.
Great. Be in touch in a few days.
In the meantime, gather what cash you can, and then we can work out a nice, easy payment schedule for the balance.
Do you want any? I'm sorry. I think he would like me to do that. Okay. Yes, I know. Come on.
You know, this is part of what hurts so much, is watching the many ways that he turns to you as his mother. I start wondering if I can really handle this relationship and situation that we're in.
Of course you can. Because you know what? The more Elaine gets to know you and feels comfortable with you, then the easier it's going to be when you take him.
Oh, Tina. Thank you so much for loving him as much as you do. And giving him such a warm home.
Yeah. Look, the most important thing for us to remember here is that we have to keep up this pretense. That nobody can ever find out, because then they'll know why Maria was trying to blackmail me.
When is your preliminary hearing?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm in the library.
Gabrielle.
Afternoon, Court.
Hey, son, how you doing? Well, you just have some dinner, huh? Maybe a little snack?
Well, we thought he was hungry. I guess he wasn't.
Gabrielle, you do me a favor. Will you take my son upstairs to his bedroom? I need to have a little talk with Tina. Tina, I've just had a meeting with Rafe Garrettson. Now, you know who that is, don't you? Captain of detectives over at the police department. Just showed me a very interesting letter. One you've read, written by my mother. I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about.
Look, it was all lies, okay? She was just trying to make me look terrible, to make it look like I was going to try to kill Vicky instead of her.
That letter says nothing about Vicky. It only talks about you and me.
She made everything up. Don't you see that? She was trying to make things look worse for me than they already were. She was probably trying to get you to sue for custody of Al.
The first time you had that fight with my mother, the time you had the scissors in your hands when she supposedly was strangling you, what was that all about?
She wanted me to get a Caribbean divorce.
Or maybe it was all about that letter, Tina. Maybe about some secret that she had discovered about you. One that maybe you were willing enough to get violent about to protect. Now, I've been thinking about that letter, Tina. All the way here in the car, I've been thinking about it. My mom goes on and on and on how she wants me to forgive her and welcome her back into my life.
Well, maybe she thought this letter would score some points.
No, Tina, that doesn't fit. Because she goes on to say how she was blackmailing you, knowing damn well how I would react to something like that. So that can only mean one thing, that this secret of yours has got to be something really terrible.
Oh, yeah, and there you go again, right? Listening to her, some deranged woman that would do anything.
Damn, stop talking about my mother like that.
Well, yes, Charles. I've been reading about the little uproar you've been creating at the waterfront.
Well, it's not really an uproar, and you being a thriving capitalist yourself, I'm sure that you can appreciate my position.
Oh,
Did I miss something?
No, nothing. I just thought I saw my daughter over there.
Lee, excuse me, but what is it with your daughter? I mean, I might be able to give you some advice, some suggestions.
Oh, Charles, my ex-husband disappeared with my daughter when she was 2 years old.
No.
Yeah, and I have finally found her here, and I haven't seen her in 17 years.
17 years?
Mm-hmm.
Lee, I'm sorry. I've heard stories like this, but I've never known anyone who's lived through them. That man ought to be horsewhipped.
Yeah. Well, you know, he feels he was justified in what he did. Anyway, my daughter is just caught between the two of us, you know? She doesn't know who to believe, and my ex-husband is spreading all these little tales about me to her, and
Isn't there any way that you and this ex-husband can, like, thrash things out so that she doesn't have to make a choice?
No. There is no way. I mean, there is a lot of bitterness, and, no, there's no way we could get over festering of 17 years.
Oh, boy, and that, I suppose, is what came to a head earlier today.
Well, actually, Marilyn just found out that I am her mother, and that is the first time we've come face to face with that, you know, and I don't know, that is such a hard thing to deal with, you know, and she's...
Now, excuse me, but you said Mary Lynn. Now, I know a Mary Lynn Dennison. I know her and her father. Is this the Mary Lynn you're talking about?
Oh, what am I trying to hide it for? It's going to come out sooner or later. Yes, it is.
Hello.
Hello, Tom.
I'd like to speak with Miss Halpern, if I may.
Can we please get out of here?
What do you want me to do, put on my tuxedo?
I think that'd be a waste of time. If that is Sandra, I will die. I'll die.
Just cool it for women.
That can't be easy for you to say.
Hey, John.
Oh, well, hello, Ray.
Hi,
Ray.
Cassie. Glad you're both here. I had a meeting with the Montaigne's insurers this morning. Did you know that Frank had taken out $1 million life insurance policy on himself as well as Sandra? Obviously you didn't.
Well, that's a man who really valued his life.
That plus the fact that a body hasn't been found is bothering the insurance company. They don't want this case closed yet, and frankly, neither do I. Frank's gun hasn't been found either.
What are you saying, Ray?
I'm saying that we're going to continue investigating this.
Wait a minute, Rafe, John killed Frank in self-defense. You're not questioning that, are you?
The insurance company has raised some interesting questions. I can't ignore them. It's not an accusation.
Well, it's just a little bit close to one, if you ask me.
How dare you? It could have been John and Sandra. Look, I think Frank took out this insurance policy so that when he killed his wife, he'd look less suspicious.
Could be. Probably was. At any rate, don't make any sudden plans to leave town. I'm sure the investigators of the company will be contacting you.
Well, that's fine. Let him.
This will blow over in 5 minutes.
Yeah, sweetheart. Maybe in 3.
Where are you going?
Ask Sandra some questions.
Does this mean I'm going to be spending the rest of the day alone?
I will see you at dinner later tonight, okay?
John Russell Investigations. Dad, boy, do I need to talk to you. Can we meet?
Look, I really can't tell you how sorry I am about your mother. But I am not going to go to jail for a murder I did not commit. And I'm not going to explain to you some kind of secret that doesn't even exist.
This is real hard for me, Tina. All of it. I mean, it's real hard for me to see the woman who raised me be the same woman that all these people are talking about, saying all these things. This is very hard, Tina, all of it. But it would be much easier if I could just believe you for once in my life.
I know I've given you reason in the past not to do that.
You have given me plenty of reasons to never trust you again. Tina, I am caught in the middle here. I've got a choice. I can either assume that my mother went so far over the end that she is capable of all these things, or I can assume that you are keeping another secret from me.
I think I can understand that.
Tina, if I believe you, if I think only the best thoughts about you, I leave myself wide open. I have no guarantee that you just won't kick me in the teeth again, Tina. I guess the only thing I can do is wait. See what else the police come up with their investigation.
Look, I did not steal that poison. Your mother did. And she was going to use it.
Stop it! All right, stop it! All of the facts aren't in yet on that. I can't make a decision. And as for that letter, you haven't given me anything to dismiss it.
Cord? You didn't tell Rafe about that fight with your mother, did you?
Of course I did, Tina. It happened, didn't it?
Tom, I'm really busy. I can't talk to you.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, I can't go to the
No,
bar.
Charles, you stay. Tom will leave.
Do you know where Mary Lynn is?
No, I don't.
Do you know how she is?
Oh,
It's all right.
Tom, with all the bull you've been feeding her, what do you think?
No, I think you were unable to convince her that you're innocent in this whole
Oh,
thing.
look, why
That's
don't you
what I
just
think.
drop it, all right?
If you see her, would you please?
I will be sure to tell you.
Charles?
See you, Tom.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I am really sorry about that.
I'm sorry, too. I'm sorry for all three of you. I've known Tom quite a while. I've always thought that he was a very good father.
Yeah, well, it's really easy to be a good father when you're the only parent, you know. I will be damned if I'm going to let him take her. Look, I'm really sorry. I think I should go, but,
Lee.
What?
Have dinner with me.
Oh, really? Not tonight.
Tomorrow night, then, when you're feeling a little bit better. Maybe like a distraction, a gourmet meal, some vintage wine, and a very nice male companion who happens to think you're quite delightful, even if you are a bit depressed.
Well, you're very charming, and I'm very depressed, so it'd probably make a great combination. All right, I'll have dinner with you.
Excellent. I will call you and set a time, and meanwhile, may I walk you to your suite?
Well, the elevator would be faster.
You're probably right.
Let's go.
I'm glad you can meet me, Dad. You said something about a letter from Mom?
Yeah, here. The gist of it is that your mother's having a ball in Mendora. She loves being ambassador, loves the people. And that her sister Melinda is being released from the sanitarium again. Now, Dorian would like me to be Melinda's sponsor, which is required. You know, someone to make sure she's got a place to live and enough support to get started.
Dad, I can do that.
Well, She also needs a medical sponsor to prescribe her medication, make sure she's taking it, that she's doing all right.
Well, how about Larry Wolek?
Possibly. At any rate, my darling, I'm entirely too busy with my job, especially with the Maria Roberts murder trial coming up, to babysit Melinda.
Dad, I would be happy to do it. Look, I've never met Aunt Melinda, but I know that, well, I've always felt kind of sorry for her, and I would love to help her out. I know Mom would be really proud of me, and she can come live with me.
You really think you have enough time in your life for that?
Dad, it would be a welcome change. I spend most of my spare time brooding about John. At least this way, I could be constructive. I could really be of use to someone.
Well, certainly make your mother proud knowing you wanted to sponsor her sister.
I was going to call you, John.
Well, I saved you 25 cents then, huh?
John, what's the matter? I can tell by the tone in your voice that something's the matter.
Well, it's the tone of a man who's been told by the police captain not to leave town. Seems they haven't closed the case on Frank's death yet.
Why not?
The insurance company is asking a lot of questions, raising some issues, such as the fact that Frank took out $1 million life insurance policy on his own life.
John, I didn't know that. What does it mean?
Well, it means that they're raising a lot of questions, like where's the gun, what happened to the body, and maybe, just maybe, you killed him for the mill.
You're not serious, John.
They are.
Well, then maybe we are overlooking something then. If Frank took out a policy on his own life, then maybe he wasn't planning on killing me for the policy on mine.
Right. He was just waving the gun around at us for fun.
I wish that had never happened.
Well, so do I, but it happens to be a little late for that. And Sandra, there's something else that's been bothering me. You know, the police recorded your phone call to them 10 minutes after you called me. You told me you called me before them.
John, at the time Frank was threatening me, I don't know what I said, much less when I said it.
Well, I suggest that you remember that because it might become a case in point.
Now, there's something else, John. You said that you'd found out that Frank had borrowed a lot of money from the loan sharks. They paid me a little visit this afternoon. And they threatened me.
Sandra, these thugs wouldn't be named Sid and Leonard, would they?
How do you know?
Well, let's just say I've been doing my homework. What did they say?
They said that Frank owed them a great deal of money and that I should get some cash to give them, and then we'd work out a nice payment plan for the rest of it.
Well, they probably wanted to take over your club and force you to sell it.
John, they can have it if they'll just leave me alone.
Sandra, it is time for us to go to the police and involve them.
John,
I do not want to tangle with the mob the rest of my life. Now listen, we can get together the first payment. You can try and get it together, and we'll use that as evidence. We'll go to the police with it.
How are you with figures? Listen, I think it's time. I need to start looking at Frank's books to find out exactly how much he owes legitimately and exactly what he has.
Well, I can help you with that.
Would you please help me? I mean, I can get an accountant, and I will get an accountant. But right now, it's very